The tracking station dozed peacefully in the early morning silence. The huge radar aerials revolved in their constant searching, silhouetted against the blue of the sky. In an instrument-packed room, deep inside the building, the results of that search showed up as a blip of light, tracing its curving course across a radar display screen. A man was studying the blip, muttering to himself as he checked the instruments all round him. About 1 million miles, mass variable. He looked again at the dials, shaking his head. Variable? What's the book say, Harry? Beside him, his assistant was immersed in a pile of star charts and periodicity tables. Nothing here. You sure? There's got to be. Harry was bored, irritable, and in no mood for mysteries at the end of a long and tiring shift. Look, there's nothing here. No comets, nothing. Pleased, his superior leaned back in his swivel chair. Then it looks as if we've discovered a new one. Run another course check. While Harry busied himself with the instruments, the senior technician watched the steady progress of the blip. Ransom's comet, he was thinking happily, though probably the director would pinch all the credit, even if he was still home in bed. Suddenly Ransom sat up. The blip on the screen had changed direction. You get that? Harry nodded. Picked it up on the instruments. That thing's just altered course. But it can't have. With gloomy satisfaction, Harry studied a computer printout. You can say goodbye to your comet, mate. Whatever that thing is, it's now on a collision course for Earth. Harry reached for a phone, but Ransom put out a hand to stop him. What are you doing? Just in case you've forgotten, there's a whole batch of people we're supposed to tell about unidentified flying objects. Harry pointed to a list of names and telephone numbers on a nearby notice board. The Director, the Ministry of Security, and something called UNIT, the United Nations Intelligence Task Force. Ransom looked at the radar screen a moment longer, saying goodbye to his dream of scientific immortality. Then he sighed and picked up the telephone. Get me the Director, please. Red alert. Yes, I know he's still home in bed. Wake him up. Tell him there's an unidentified flying object heading straight for Earth. In the military and scientific complex that formed unit headquarters, Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart's day was getting off to a very bad start. The cause of his troubles was not alien monsters, but earth-bound bureaucrats. Whitehall's latest brainchild was the newly created Ministry of Security, an organisation designed to gather all Britain's various intelligence organisations under one central umbrella. The Brigadier had refused to be gathered, taking the position that UNIT was not a national but an international organisation, and as such answerable only to UNIT HQ in Geneva. The war of letters, memos and reports had continued for some time now, with the Brigadier more than holding his own. But now the Whitehall enemy had wearied of the paper bombardment and sent in their shock troops, in the stocky and unattractive shape of Horatio Chin. Like many small men in high positions, Chin liked to think of himself as Napoleonic. He saw himself as a hard-driving human dynamo, cutting through the restraints of red tape. He was a vain and rather stupid man, but he was also ruthlessly ambitious and tirelessly energetic. Chin eventually overcame most of his opponents by wearing them down. He'd even worn down the minister in charge of his own department, who couldn't stand the man, but couldn't think how to get rid of him. Wily old politician that he was, the minister had been struck by a sudden brainwave. He had two main problems at the moment, Chin and the Brigadier. Why not turn them loose on each other? Whichever proved the winner, the minister would have one less problem to worry about. The result of this brilliant strategy had been Chin's appointment as a one-man committee of inquiry. It was now Chin's second day with UNIT, and while the minister back in Whitehall basked in unaccustomed peace, the Brigadier was already brooding on emergency courts-martial and summary executions.